Number 1. The biggest success of humans was to light a fire. Since humans have learned to light a fire, they have always tried to make this process easier. Lighting a fire before a matchstick used to be a very difficult task. Welcome to Fact Frontier. If someone would rub a stone and light a fire, someone would place a stick of wood on another wood and run it like a drill. In 1827, a British pharmacist, John Walker, was experimenting with some chemicals. He accidentally placed the sticks with which he was mixing the chemicals next to the bonfire in his room. The chemical on the wood caught fire immediately. He then got the idea of making matchsticks. This chemical was a mixture of potassium chlorate and antimony sulfide. John Walker's invention was so successful that since then, matches are used in every house. But John Walker did not get his invention patented. People copied his formula and started making new versions of matches. In 1859, when he died, he was considered the inventor of matchstick. Number 2, in addition to pacemakers and penicillin, blood thinners were also invented in medical industry by chance. This is the case of 1920s when a strange disease was noticed in animals. In this disease, they started to have internal bleeding due to which even the tough animals also died. Researchers revealed that due to eating a special fungus that settles on the grass, their blood has become very thin. When that fungus was understood in detail, a special chemical was found in it, which actually made their blood very thin. This chemical was later named warfarin. Given to heart attack and stroke patients, after 1950s, warfarin was decided to be used on humans too. The first patients who were used this life-saving medicine on were US President Dwight D. Eisenhower. He had a heart attack in 1955 and his life was saved by the use of warfarin. Number 3, before World War II, coal was used as a heater in homes, but because of this, a layer of black smoke would stick to the house. That's when Play-Doh was invented, which was used to remove the black smoke. But after World War II, natural gas was used as a heater. The invention of Noah and Joseph's Play-Doh was of no use. But a few years later, in the 1950s, Joseph saw that his sister, who was a school teacher, was giving this Play-Doh to her students to make models of different things. From there, he got an idea, and he registered the Rainbow Crafts Company and started selling it to play with children. Number 4, whether to check blood pressure, tighten children's shoes, or keep the wire of a mobile or laptop charger wrapped, the use of hook and loop tape is essential in every household, which is often called Velcro. But did you know that the idea of this invention came about when in 1941, George de Mestral, an electrical engineer, was hiking with his dog on the mountains of the Alps. During the walk, the seeds of the burdock plant he noticed that the burdock sticks to his clothes only with a slight touch. He took some seeds home with him, where he saw them with a microscope. He found that the tip of the thorns of this seed is like a hook, which easily gets stuck in the small loops on the clothes. Easily gets stuck. This plant is naturally made in such a way that it spreads its seeds through nearby animals. George de Mestral was quite surprised by this method. He wanted to make something useful by using this method. So he published his invention in 1955 and got it registered in his name. Hook and loop tape comes in 2 parts. One has only hooks, and the other has nylon loops. They stick to each other as the burdock seeds stick to the cloth. Today, Velcro is made in 7 countries and about 2,500 employees work in this company. Number 5, do you know that during the Vietnam War, there was a chemical that saved the lives of thousands of wounded soldiers? Doctors used to spray this chemical on the wounds of the soldiers as a first aid, which would dry the wounds immediately and the bleeding would stop. This chemical was nothing but super glue, which is present in every house today. And the most interesting thing is that super glue was also invented by mistake. During World War II, the biggest problem for the soldiers was that when they fired with their guns, the bullet would not hit the target at the right place. To solve this problem, the US Army needed a target that was made of pure plastic, so that everything could be seen easily. A team of chemical engineers was hired to make this clear plastic, including Dr. Harry Coover. They made a chemical that was more adhesive than necessary to make clear plastic. This chemical, called cyanoacrylate, could not be used to make a gun's target. After 9 years, in 1951, Dr. Harry Coor was working in Kodak Company when some experiments were being done to make a canopy of jet engine. On this occasion, Dr. Harry Coor once again introduced cyanoacrylate in front of him. But this time also, this chemical was rejected due to being excessively adhesive. Coincidentally, at that time, the refractometer of another chemist of Kodak was broken. Then Dr. Harry Coor got an idea that he already had a solution for this, and that was none other than cyanoacrylate. He used this chemical to connect his expensive refractometer in seconds. This was the time when Dr. Harry Coor realized that his chemical can connect things in a very short time, and there is no need for any heat or force. In 1958, Kodak started selling this chemical under their name superglue. Along with collecting things, superglue was also used to record fingerprints in forensic investigations. When superglue is heated, the fumes that form from it react with the invisible fingerprints. And when superglue dries and hardens in Mentos, fingerprints were printed on it. Number 6. During the Vietnam War, the Army possessed a chemical that they applied to the wounds of the injured, instantly stopping their bleeding regardless of the wound's depth. This chemical saved thousands of lives and is still commonly used in households today. In daily life, many things are not invented with a specific purpose, but rather by accident. Let's start with Coca-Cola. Who would have thought that it would become the world's most famous soft drink? The story dates back to 1865, when Dr. Pemberton, also holding the rank of lieutenant colonel in the American Army, was stabbed in the chest during the Battle of Columbus. The wound was excruciating, leading Dr. Pemberton to turn to morphine, an addictive drug used as a last resort. Although the wound healed, he became addicted to morphine and sought a solution. At that time, alcohol and cocaine were not considered harmful, and anyone could purchase and use them. Dr. Pemberton concocted a remedy for himself, combining cola nuts and Damiana plant's juice with a mixture of cocaine and alcohol. This concoction served as a pain reliever and an alcoholic beverage known as Pemberton's French wine coca. In other words, he adopted a new habit to leave one. About 20 years later, in 1886, an anti-alcoholism campaign was launched, in which a law was passed against alcohol and cocaine. The owner of the local pharmacy told Pemberton that he would have to extract alcohol and cocaine from his French wine, coca. For this purpose, Dr. Pemberton did some experiments in which he made a syrup from a mixture of only cola nuts and coca leaves. He would have done different experiments and got the owner of the pharmacy to test it, but by mistake, he added carbonated water to the syrup in an experiment. The pharmacy owner was so impressed that he suggested selling it as a refreshing drink, not a headache. Now, because this drink was made by mixing cola and coca leaves, it was sold as a refreshing drink by naming it Coca-Cola was sold for 5 cents, and Pemberton knew that one day this drink will be a national drink. Due to his illness and bankruptcy, he sold his drink formula famous business tycoon Asa Griggs Skander for just $238. The market value is $260 billion USD. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more stories from Fact Frontier. See you in the next video.